Hey everyone, it's Tanya from the Creativerie. Thank you for tuning into my YouTube channel and thank you for watching my first video. This is going to be an intro to embroidery series. I am making the first video. We're going to talk about the materials needed to get started. The next video we'll talk about transferring patterns and preparing your hoop to sew. The third video will feature stitches that I use in my practice. And then all the videos thereafter will be patterns and kits that are available. So without further ado, let's get started. Embroidery is not an expensive hobby. You know, when compared to so many others that are already out there, I find to get started, you could probably get started with under $5. But minimally, we do need some supplies. So to start off with, we need embroidery hoops. They come in a different array of materials and sizes. Here we have a 3-inch, a 4-inch, and a 5-inch. I'm going to talk about a 4-inch today just for demonstration purposes. We need to have material to transfer your pattern onto, and I just prefer to use cotton, 100% cotton material. You don't have to wash it beforehand. You don't have to iron it. It will all get straightened out when you put it in the hoop. You know, really material comes down to a preference. Obviously, you can use whatever works for you. I just prefer to get started with an easy to use all cotton material. We need to have embroidery thread, of course, to sew with, and this is DMC. Now, I like DMC because the quality is top notch. It doesn't knot up when you try to separate it. As you can see, these come in, this is floss, and it actually is able to be separated, and we're actually going to separate floss, obviously in another video, but this is why I like this particular brand, because it doesn't knot up, it doesn't twist up that bad as compared to the cheaper brands that are out there. These are about 56 cents a piece, depending on where you are, so pretty much thread is cheap. Obviously, you need a needle. Or two. Preference on size really is up to you. It kind of depends on, can you see to thread your needle, and you know, just being able to hold on to it. Is it too small, too short, too big? Sometimes when you use too big of a needle, they leave behind big holes in the fabric. So be sure to use one that is just right for the project. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later when we get started with stitches in the third video. To transfer your patterns onto your fabric, you're going to need a pen or a pencil. Really, you don't need anything more fancy than that. I make it very easy to do that. I use an LED light pad, which is a big, large LED pad that you plug in and it lights up behind. But I can also show you ways that you could make a LED light box at home without having to go out and purchase one. You need some scissors. I prefer to have a seam ripper also, because sometimes you have to take a stitch out, or you might have to fix something, and the point here on this is really easy to use. Plus, remember that when you're doing embroidery, you are really painting with thread. So, you know, don't ever worry about making a mistake, because you can always take it out and start over and no one will know. I do sometimes use a needle threader. This is just a plain Jane one that I've had for a while. Sometimes if I'm, you know, working with more than 3 strands of thread and I'm trying to get it through, or I'm using a smaller needle, I need this. I also give these away in my kits for the classes that I teach as well, so that students don't struggle with getting their needle threaded. Some optional items that we do use in embroidery. This is pearl cotton. Pearl cotton is also made by DMC. There's different sizes, as you can see here. This is a number 12. It is a little thinner than, say, a number 8. And then there's also a number 5, which is even more thick. And then these ones are 25. And I'm not sure how to explain the sizes, but I do know that one strand of these would be the 25. The higher the number you go, the smaller the thread is. So again, I just use these for outlining. I don't use these typically to sew with. I haven't yet, but maybe we will in the future. Another thing you might want to have around is some tacky glue, because when you want to finish off the back of your hoop, you can glue it down with tacky glue. And, you know, sometimes people like to buy thread bobbins. I don't. I have one here just to demonstrate to you. about what they are. It's just a little cardboard. You put the number on there of the color of thread, and then you wrap it around when you take everything out of the skein. I used to do this, and I just really found that I spent more time wrapping, you know, thread around a card than actually sewing. So I stopped doing it. I actually just cut a piece off of the skein. I cut it off and I tape it to a piece of paper or the pattern that I'm using so that I can remember. But you know, I like people to be creative. You don't have to use the same colors that I'm using, even though I may make some suggestions. But you know, if you want to use these, you can to organize your threads. But again, that is up to you. Last but not least, I always keep a template of each hoop that I am working with. This was obviously made a long time ago. I just take it down, I put it on a piece of cardstock, and I make a circle template, because sometimes I close off the back of my embroidery pieces with felt so that you can't see through them with the light. So I always have these laying around with each hoop that I have. So felt would be the other one, would be the last thing, but that's optional. All right, so that kind of closes the loop on all the materials you kind of need to get started. So I'm going to put together a PDF, and I'll put it down below for you to download on from here on the YouTube channel. And that will just reiterate all the things that I suggest you need and things that are optional. And then I will get the second video up, and we'll talk about transferring our patterns and prepping our hoops to get ready to sew. Thank you.